And we're back. Hey, look at that. Timed it perfectly. Awesome. Alright, welcome back to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Episode 3 live stream. How was everybody's week? I had a fun week. My car was in the shop, so I couldn't go anywhere. And just got the car back from the body shop yesterday. So I walked over to the place. And it all worked out. Insurance covered everything, but I finally got my car back, so I can finally drive to the bank and cash my stimulus check, so I can finally pay some of these medical bills that have been accumulating on my desk for an uncomfortable amount of time. Yeah, really riveting stuff. My life is very exciting. But that's not why you're here. Sorry, I got a cough drop here. Because my voice sounded like crap last time, so I gotta kind of try to take care of it before we go live. Also, it's tax season. Yay! I have not gotten any of my 1099s in the mail yet. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that. Whatever. Deal with it later. Alright, so you guys know the drill by now. I'm going to go through the episode. I'm going to cover absolutely everything. Gonna give my thoughts. I'll spoil the whole thing for you. So there's your spoiler warning if you haven't done this yet. And then we'll do super chats and comments at the end. So let's get this show rolling. And let's try not to go too long because I gotta go to the grocery store when I'm done with this. Because I haven't been in a week. And I have no food to eat. Anywho, episode 3 of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the one where it starts to feel like the show is getting on track now. We start with a commercial for the GRC, that's the Global Repatriation Council. And it's to make all the people who got blipped think that they can trust these people, that the GRC are here to help them, we'll help you get your homes and your jobs back, help you get back into society, blah, blah, blah. So it's a good bet that they're corrupt as hell. Then we go to John Walker and Lamar Hoskins. And I spelled Lamar wrong in my notes here. But autocorrect is a pain in the ass sometimes. Anyway. Yeah, we cut to John and Lamar. They're conducting a raid looking for Carly Morgenthau. And one guy there says he doesn't know where Carly is. John doesn't believe him, so he spits in John's face. And John gets really mad at this. Like, do you know who I am? He screams. Acting like an entitled asshole. So John is already becoming really unhinged. Like, very quickly. And I just want to know what set this off. Like, is it just the pressure of the situation? There doesn't seem to be anything triggering him right now, so like, maybe he was always an asshole and was just pretending to be a good guy. I don't know. But they worked really hard in his first appearance to show us that he was like a good, upstanding dude. Maybe a little bit of an attitude problem at the end. But now it's like, this guy is a ticking time bomb. It's like, where did this come from, you know? Anyway. Lamar's still keeping his cool. But he admits that they're drawing blanks here. They got nothing to go on. Because the Flag Smashers are... They're criminals, technically, but they're giving supplies to refugees and trying to help people out, and that inspires loyalty. So what the hell do we do now? John says they bet on someone with a better hand. To be continued. Then we go to the Berlin prison where Zemo is currently living. Bucky wants to talk to Zemo alone, which sounds like a bad idea to me, but I guess this is something Bucky needs to do. Okay. Zemo tries the Winter Soldier trigger words on him, but he's been deprogrammed, so those don't work anymore. Zemo thinks there's still something in there, though. So maybe the Wakandans didn't get it all? Don't know. Anyway, Bucky tells him about the super soldiers, and him being here means that he thinks Hydra has something to do with that. Zemo knows all about Hydra, so he knows where to begin. Then we cut to a car garage, and Bucky is talking about how they need to break Zemo out of prison. Sam thinks that's nuts because of all the reasons. But Bucky has reasons too, and his reasons are not that crazy. Like, not as crazy as you might think. You know, he's actually able to make a decent argument. Zemo hates super soldiers, and he may be a bad guy, but he does have a code. Plus, they have no other leads to go on right now. Also, BT dubs, Bucky already broke Zemo out of prison. There he is right now. Ha. So Sam's pissed off, but Bucky reminds him that he backed Steve up when Steve refused to sign the Sokovia Accords, and that was for Bucky. He's asking for Sam's help again. So Sam agrees to this, but he's not happy about it. Plus, this is Zemo's garage, and he's got a lot of... Can't talk. He has a lot of supplies here, including the Baron Zemo purple balaclava, so that's cool. Anyway, he spent years hunting people Hydra used to recreate the super soldier serum, and he has some ideas about where they can look for information. So they're off to see a woman named Shelby in Madripoor. And they're taking Zemo's private plane, which he has, because his family is super loaded, because he's an actual baron, turns out. Weird, I always thought that was just a title or something. I didn't know that was an actual thing. But no, his family was royalty prior to Sokovia getting a raw deal. So during the flight, Zemo flips through a book with Bucky's list tucked into it. Bucky gets pissed off, and when he asks about Nakajima, and Zemo understands that this is a list of people that Bucky wronged as the Winter Soldier. And turns out the book is something that Steve had with him when he came out of the ice. So this leads to a discussion about Steve, where Zemo says the danger of people like Steve, like super soldiers, is that we put them up on pedestals. They become symbols and icons, and then we start to forget about their flaws. And from there, lots of bad shit can happen. Hell, Red Skull himself was a super soldier, lest we forget. And they don't want to live in a world full of people like the Red Skull. That's why they're going to Madripoor. But it's a lawless place, so they can't go as themselves. So Bucky will have to become the Winter Soldier again. And we have a super chat. I will get to you. Thank you very much. I will get to you as soon as I'm done with the review. So we cut to Latvia, where Carly Morgenthau is sitting with a dying woman. We don't know who this person is, but Carly's crying. She says, I'm sorry, because she feels like it's her fault somehow. They try pretty hard to make us sympathize with Carly in this episode. It works pretty well up until the end. Then we're in Madripoor, and I don't know how much of this was real and how much was green screen or CG or whatever, but it looks great. Looks really colorful and seedy, like a very ominous place. Great visuals in this whole scene. So Sam's cover is Conrad Mack, the Smiling Tiger, who I remembered from the 90s run of the New Warriors. So they get big points for that reference. So they go to a bar, and the bartender, he buys the disguise, because apparently Sam is a dead ringer for this guy. So he gets Sam, the Smiling Tiger as usual, guts a snake right in front of him, and puts some of the snake guts in a drink, which Sam has to down without gagging somehow. Dude has no gag reflex at all. So some guy comes up to him and says Zemo isn't welcome here, but Zemo has no business with the power broker, but if he insists, he can come down here himself, at which point he can be introduced to the Winter Soldier, or he can just let him see Shelby. The power broker is judge, jury, and executioner in Madripoor, and Zemo only knows him by reputation. Then some guy... excuse me. Then some guy walks up on Zemo from behind. Zemo orders the Winter Soldier to attack, and Bucky has to play along with this. So Bucky has to just fuck this guy up, as well as several other people, and it's a little disturbing how quickly he falls back into it. Like, it's a disturbingly violent action scene, like, deliberately so. And, it's... They're trying to get a point across here, like, Bucky is still, like, very dangerous, even if he's technically rehabilitated. It doesn't take much to make him fall back into his old habits. So the bartender gets on the phone and says, Selby, you'll see him now. Zemo tries to bargain with Selby for info on the super soldiers. He'll give her the Winter Soldier along with the code words to control him. She likes this idea and tells him the serum is here in the city thanks to a Dr. Wilfred Nagel. But that's all the info he's getting for free. Then Sam's phone rings because the dummy forgot to turn it off. weird rookie mistake for a pro like Sam to make, I'm just saying. It's his sister, and Selby orders him to take the call and put it on speaker, because she can tell there's something weird about this situation. She talks about, the sister talks about stuff with the bank, and Sam has to think on his feet here to keep his cover. It almost works until she calls him Sam, but before Selby can react, somebody shoots her through the window and kills her. And suddenly, everybody around there is getting a text that Selby is dead and there's a bounty on her to kill her, so they have to run for it. And they're almost in trouble here when a sniper takes out the guys chasing them. Then Sharon Carter shows up. It's not clear if she's the one who killed Selby, or if the two snipers were even the same person, or if she was the shooter both times. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if they can trust Sharon in this situation here. They keep it deliberately vague. But apparently she's been getting her hands dirty since we saw her last. She's been off the grid in Madripoor for a while now, presumably since Civil War, because when she got their gear for them, she kind of screwed herself over, and now she's in trouble with the law. So she's not happy to see any of them, but they need help, and she has a place they can lay low for a while, so she's like, all right, fine. So, since Civil War, Sharon is now working as a hustler for stolen art. Like high-end art, like Monet's and shit. And she's kind of bitter and disillusioned with what's happened to her. Like, she'll get locked up if she goes back to America, so she's stuck in this place. And she thinks the whole hero thing is a joke now. And I kind of like this. Like, she's lost all that idealism she used to have and says the hero game is a bunch of hypocrisy. And I immediately want Sharon to stick around because she just fits right in with Sam and Bucky. With this mindset of hers, she's the perfect foil for them. So, she warns them to steer clear of the super soldier business for their own safety. But Sam says, he can clear her name if she helps them out. She doesn't think he can. And I'm skeptical about that too. But, what has she got to lose, really? She knows Nagel works for the power broker, and she caters to some pretty connected people so she can ask around. So she holds a party, during which Zemo tries to dance, ironically, which is kind of funny. But she finds their guy and takes them to a shipping yard. And she keeps a lookout while they go into a shipping container. Zemo finds a secret door, which takes them to a lab. And Dr. Nagel, which autocorrect keeps changing to Angel, which is very annoying. And Dr. Nagel wants them out of there, but he recognizes Bucky. And he also knows who Zemo is, so he knows he's in trouble here. Meanwhile, Sharon sees that every bounty hunter in Madripoor is tracking them down. So they need to be quick about this. Sharon starts tracking all these... I can't talk anymore. I'm sorry. She starts taking all these guys out. And not in a girl power fuck yeah kind of way, but in a cool badass kind of way. And the difference is, in case you were unaware, there's always a sense that she's in real danger here. Like, she's not in control of the situation. She's barely staying one step ahead of these guys. She gets roughed up a little bit in the process, and she can only do it for so long before she has to get Sam and Bucky and run for it. So Sharon looks awesome, but it doesn't feel politically driven here. She's just a character who's really good at what she does. And I thought this was a really cool sequence. So the guys are threatening Nagel, not Angel. Fuck you, autocorrect. I'm sorry, I'm very OCD about this type of stuff. So, they threaten Nagel into talking. He was brought into Hydra to pick up their work on the super soldier thing after the 5 failed test subjects in Siberia that we saw in Civil War. Then after Hydra went down, he got recruited into the CIA, and they had the blood samples of an American test subject with traces of super soldier serum, and that's Isaiah Bradley. So he perfected the serum, but this version was going to be even better. This is like version 2.0 from what Cap got. And there were going to be no machines like Bucky, no jacked up bodies like Steve. It would be very subtle, and it would be very perfect. But before he could finish it, he got blipped. Then when he returned 5 years later, the program had been shut down. I'm not sure why, since they were on the verge of making the whole thing work. But it's kaput now. That's when he came to Madripoor, and the power broker started funding his work. And he managed to crank out 20 doses of super soldier serum, which Carly Morgenthau then stole. And there's like 7 or 8 of the Flag Smashers, so it's a safe bet they still have some of these doses. Like a good 12 or 13 of them. And a couple days ago, Carly actually called him up after robbing him, asking if he could help someone named Doña Madani. I guess that's the dying woman from before. She had tuberculosis and wasn't doing well if a super soldier serum was her only option, so there's their lead. And Bucky asks if there's any serum in this lab. Nagel says no, it's not clear if he's lying or not, but Sharon runs in at that point and says they're out of time. And Zemo uses this distraction to shoot Nagel dead. Then a bounty hunter shoots the container with an RPG. The whole lab is destroyed, and Zemo escapes. So Sam, Bucky, and Sharon are pinned down by these bounty hunters. Sam and Bucky are arguing about who's supposed to be shooting whom. The other guys are closing in, and then Zemo puts on the purple balaclava, so he's a proper Baron Zemo now. He shoots a gas main or something to make it explode, and then kills the bounty hunters himself. And because Zemo is so fabulously wealthy, he's got cars stored everywhere. So he just goes into a shipping container, finds them a ride. So the good guys take cover in a shipping container. Zemo has a car stored there. He gets them a ride. It seems very odd to me that Zemo doesn't take this opportunity to just escape. Not really sure why he wouldn't. I'm assuming that while Sam and Bucky are using Zemo, he's also using them too. To what end, I'm not sure. Maybe he just wants to take out the Flag Smashers because he really hates super soldiers that much. I guess there's more to that. So they escape. Sharon doesn't go with them, unfortunately. I wish she would have. But she's got a car waiting for her with an assistant. We've got a big problem. Actually, a couple of them, she says. And as cool as Sharon was in this episode, I don't entirely trust her for some reason. Like, she's playing a different game here, I think. I'm not ruling out her being the sniper that killed Selby. I'm really not. Anywho, we cut to a GRC depot in Lithuania. And apropos of nothing, there's a big ol' X on the gateway. Like an X-Men insignia X. I don't know what it means. They make no mention of it. But it was put there deliberately for some reason. So make of that what you will. So that could be our first real tease of the X-Men coming to the MCU. Could be. Again, I don't know what it means. But it was put there for some reason. And the Flag Smashers are there. Carly's not doing so great, though. She's still really broken up about Doña, who I assume has passed on. One of her guys says that she can take some time to mourn and they don't have to do this right now. But she says they do. She's really driven right now. She never thought she'd be doing anything like this or never thought she'd end up in Madripoor. She wanted to be a teacher before all this started. Just like Mama Doña. But when everyone who was blipped came back and they got put out on the street, she knew Madripoor was the only place that had something that she could use to protect them. And that's something that hasn't really been explored in the MCU up until now. We've always seen things from the perspective of the people who got blipped. And things always seemed pretty crappy for the people who didn't. That there were actually people whose lives got better after the blip and then got screwed over when everyone came back is an interesting angle. It's like they're Thanos sympathizers or something. Because that's what Thanos' whole game plan was. You know, remove half the population and then things get better because there are more resources for the people who are still there and stuff. So it's interesting that life actually did get better for at least some people. Because we always really vilified Thanos for this, but for some people, it's not, no, he had a point. Things got better for me. Things got worse when everything went back to normal. So I like that they're actually starting to explore that. So the guy says the power broker will catch up with them eventually, but Carly says Nagel was just killed in Madripoor, so they got the last of the serum and they're holding all the cards now. So there's just one fight ahead of them. And hey, maybe Carly will get to be a teacher after all when this is all over. I actually really liked Carly after this scene. Like, they were able to make her, like, legitimately sympathetic here. She doesn't seem like a bad person, just an extremist who was pushed into doing some crazy shit because she felt like she had no choice. And even with what she does later on, she really doesn't feel like a villain here at all. It's interesting. So we cut back to the prison where John and Lamar are asking around. John thinks Sam and Bucky helped Zemo escape. Lamar points out that they can't make an accusation like that without proof. But John just wants to run with this anyway, and if they get results, no one will really care how they do it. John is getting more and more dickish in every scene, and I really want to know what's setting him off here. So we're back on the plane. Sam calls Thorias to find Doña Madani. Sam is really troubled about all the stuff that they've just gone through. He's thinking about all the crap that Sharon had to experience, and then Nagel talking about Isaiah Bradley like he wasn't even a person. And he's wondering how many people have to get stepped on just to make way for the Captain America shield. Which is a much more complex way of looking at this than we've ever really seen before. So Bucky points out that the shield saved a lot of lives too, and Sam gets that, and thinks maybe he made a mistake. Maybe instead of putting the shield in a museum, he should have destroyed it. Not sure how you destroy vibranium, but that's what he's thinking. Bucky says the shield meant a lot of things to a lot of people, including him. And the world is upside down. It needs a new Captain America. It ain't gonna be John Walker, that's for sure. So Bucky thinks maybe he should just steal the shield from him. And now we're getting into some interesting legacy stuff here. Because both these guys are dealing with Steve's legacy, and they both have different ideas about what that means and how to do it. And Bucky has more of a desire to create a new Captain America, or maybe even be a new Captain America, but he's not the guy to inspire people like Steve did. His hands are too dirty. He can't do that. He can't be the guy. Sam can do it, but he's the one who's really conflicted about the whole thing. So there's no politics, there's no weird gay subtext here. It's just two characters talking about what the show is supposed to be about. And it's really interesting. So when the show actually stays on point and doesn't get sidetracked by other stuff, I have very little to complain about. Then Torres calls Madani died in Riga, which is near the Baltic Sea. Zemo has a place there because Zemo is super rich, so that's where they're heading next. We get to the Flag Smashers, cleaning out the supply depot. Carly blows up the entire building with people still inside. This is the only language these people understand, she says. Weird that I still like her more than John Walker after this. So we cut to Riga in Latvia. They get to Zemo's place, but Bucky goes for a walk. He looks around and he finds some Wakandan tech hidden all over the place. So he knows somebody's there, and it's one of the Wakandan warrior women. Not Okoye, which autocorrect changed to OK. Stop it, autocorrect. Stop it. Thank you. So it's not Okoye, it's someone else. I didn't recognize her at first, but apparently she was the one from Civil War who had that stare down with Black Widow. And she was in Black Panther too, I guess. I don't know how you pronounce her name. Io? I'm terrible with names. But she's been around a little bit. She does not look happy, though. She's here for Zemo. Really good cliffhanger. I actually didn't consider that the Wakandans might get involved here, even though it makes perfect sense that they would. But it just didn't occur to me. So yeah, I really like this. It's already really complex. Then you throw the Wakandans in there. Good stuff. This was the best episode so far, easily. There was no wokeness, no cringy stuff, no politics, no awkward gay subtext, just action, intrigue, and the characters talking about the issues that they're supposed to have. Sam and Bucky dealing with Steve's legacy, and the complications that arise when you add John Walker and Baron Zemo and Sharon Carter and now the Wakandans. This is the show I thought Falcon Winter Soldier was going to be. And it's really good when they actually stick to that. The first two episodes were not seamless. I think we all agree on that. there was some stuff in there that didn't really work. And this one felt like they had the kinks worked out now. If they can continue in this direction, I think I'll be happy with this show. Remains to be seen if they can do that. They might slip back into their previous habits in the next episode. Who knows? This might have been a fluke. I hope not. But if we get more episodes like this, that's what I'm looking forward to. Okay. Sue. Super Chats. Z, thank you for the $2. You should review My Hero Academia. You know, I've never seen My Hero Academia. I've heard a lot about it. I've just never had occasion to watch it. It's on the list. It's just, there's a lot of things on that list I have to get to first. Oh boy. Doodle Taint Stain. Now there's a name you don't forget. Thank you for the $5. You don't find everything involving Sharon to be absurdly coincidental? Not just her also being in Madripoor, but she knew where Sam and Bucky were? No, I don't find it absurdly coincidental. I don't think it was a coincidence. Her being in Madripoor might have been a coincidence, because she was very well set up there. That doesn't happen overnight. But no, all the other stuff, no, I think it's possible. I think it's very possible that she was the sniper that killed Selby. She might have been both snipers. Who knows? But no, I think Sharon's up to something. I think very little about that stuff, that situation was a coincidence. You know, Sharon's playing a different game there. So I do not think we've seen the last of her at all. No, there's more to her story there. Okay. Did you watch the Black Widow trailer? No, I just heard about it like 20 minutes before I started the stream. So yeah, Black Widow has a new trailer out. I have not seen it yet. I may do a reaction on it. I didn't have time to do it right now, but there is no new episode of Batwoman this week, thank you, Jesus. So I may do a reaction video on that a little later. Love it if we saw more of Sharon. Me too. If she feels like she has more of a character now. Now that she's been off screen, getting her hands dirty for a while. Yeah, they didn't really have time to get into her character that much in the movies. Now she was kind of a quasi love interest for Steve. She was Peggy's niece or great niece, I think, and wasn't much else. Now she's kind of like embittered and disillusioned, and she's got her hands in other stuff, and she's a lot more interesting now. I want them to bring her back. Loved your review of Godzilla vs. Kong. Thank you. Also thought episode 4 of Invincible was fantastic. Yeah, it was. Invincible is so fucking good, you guys. If you're not watching Invincible, what's wrong with you? Go to Amazon Prime and watch it right now. You can leave the stream. It's okay. Just turn it off. Go watch Invincible right now. That's how good the show is. I can't wait for more. I'm counting the days until the next Invincible Friday. I may rewatch the episode after I get done with this. Okay. Most of the scenes feel rushed, maybe because it's a TV show trying to be a movie. I didn't get that impression. To me, this episode was probably paced the best out of all of the first 3 that we saw. Because there wasn't any downtime. There was no stuff with like Sam's family or Bucky's therapist. There was less stuff about their personal lives. Now they're just on mission. And I guess the upshot is that their personal lives are not as interesting as they probably should be. But yeah, to me the pacing of this one was the best out of the first 3 episodes. lost my place. Autocorrect is the one true nemesis. It is. It really is. It's so annoying when I'm writing scripts for Batwoman reviews, because I always have to go back and change it, because they keep changing Sophia to something else. So every time Sophia appears in the episode and I have to write her name like 50 times, I have to keep going back every time and changing it. Like, stop autocorrect! Ugh! It's so annoying. I liked what Zemo said about super soldiers like Captain America, that people have looked up to them and made them look like gods. People forget that they're people who have flaws as well. Yeah, that's a new angle to approach this from. Because, up until now, the only super soldiers... I can't talk. Super soldiers, excuse me. Still sick. I've got a hypersalivation issue that makes it difficult to speak clearly. Makes recording videos a nightmare. My head does feel somewhat better post-surgery, though, so that's nice. The only super soldiers we really knew of prior to this were Cap, Zemo, and I guess Bucky, who is like a different kind of super soldier, but he still qualifies. And then the ones in Siberia that all died. Yeah, so they're all iconic in their own way, but if you think about them as real people, that's when it gets like a lot more complicated. Like Isaiah Bradley, that's a lot more complicated. Carly and the Flag Smashers, that's a lot more complicated. It's complex and it's messy and it's dirty and it's interesting once you really get into those details. 1 second. Yum Yum Eat 'em Up, thank you for the $5. Speaking of Batwoman, each thumbnail of Batwoman shows you more disheveled and more downtrodden than the last. Here's some money for your trouble. Thank you very much. About those thumbnails, those are usually the last thing I do before I post the video. So at that point, I'm usually exhausted and sleep deprived and just completely stressed out. So that's not surprising. Yeah, I'm surprised I don't look a lot worse in those thumbnails, honestly. It's such a relief when I'm finally done with those videos for the week. Oh, God. Because at that point, I'm coming off like just hours and hours of writing and recording and editing, and I don't really have a break in between any of those things. So it's a big relief once those are finished. Let's see. Are you still doing Superman and Lois? Not sure. I haven't completely ruled out returning to those, but I mean the views were tapering off pretty quickly, and I wasn't really getting a lot of new subscribers from them. So I figured if there's something else I want to review at that time of the week, it's probably better to do that. Maybe just bring in a new audience that way. Like if there's nothing else going on, I'll probably go back and review like the most recent episode. But I mean, if I want to do something else like Godzilla vs. Kong or Mortal Kombat, I think Mortal Kombat just got delayed again. Not sure. I'll have to look that up. I thought it was coming out like next week. Maybe not. But yeah, if there's something else that's buzzworthy, I'll probably be talking about that instead. Let's see. Fair to say, with Disney Plus Marvel shows, you have problems with the first two, but then they come together in the third episode. Come to think of it, yeah, that was the same with WandaVision, wasn't it? Interesting. I love that Sharon fighting multiple men was more realistic than any fight in Batwoman, given that she needed to use weapons. Yeah, and she didn't have like a magical bat suit that absorbs all impact and makes her basically invincible. Yeah, and she got roughed up a little bit too. I mean, she got thrown into the shipping containers and stuff. I mean, she took some hits in there. Yeah, she wasn't just destroying everybody. I mean, she was in danger there. So yeah, I like that fight a lot. I'm sorry, I lost my place again. Yeah, here we go. Are you going to watch Kat Dennings' new comedy series Dollface on Disney Plus? You know, I haven't heard anything about it. I thought it was on Hulu. I don't know, maybe I'll check it out if I have some free time. Recently I've been watching old Seinfeld episodes on Hulu. Like I signed up for Hulu just so I could review Happiest Season because I was really stretching for stuff to talk about at the time. Then I just found all this other stuff on there. So I'm watching Seinfeld on there. Man, that was such a great show. I might check out Solar Opposites as well while I'm at it. Are they really going to be making Batwoman Season 3? Unfortunately, yeah. They ordered Season 3 pretty early on and after Season 2 started. I don't know why. The ratings were falling off a cliff, and they still are. I mean, no one is watching this show anymore. But now they've ordered Season 3. They've probably got buyer's remorse about that now. I know your complicated relationship with Star Wars, but can you do a review of The Mandalorian when you're free? You know, I have not yet seen The Mandalorian. I can't avoid it forever. I'm very reluctant to return to Disney Star Wars. I mean, I think about doing it, it just fills me with... It's like, I'm curious about it, but I'm fighting the urge not to, I guess. Also, with the whole Gina Carano situation, it's like, I don't want to reward them with my viewership right now. I really don't. I don't know, maybe I'll watch the first 2 seasons and then just figure screw the rest, because I'm not... Do I really want to support them after they got rid of Gina Carano? I know that was not Favreau's decision, but still, it pisses me off. Like, what does Kathleen Kennedy have to do for Bob Chapek to give her the heave-ho? I guess she's got a contract or something, but God, the woman cannot be bulletproof. It's like nobody wants her there anymore, and yet she's still there. It just makes no sense to me. Amazing to hear that you ever got tired. I was suspecting you were also a super soldier on a different variant of serum. Best regards to you always. Oh no, I get tired. My body clock is all kinds of fucked up right now. Like yesterday, I slept until 4 p.m. I only woke up because my phone started ringing. It was the body shop telling me my car was ready. So I got dressed and I ran down there. Thankfully, it's right down the road, like a mile or two. Yeah, my body clock is just completely screwed up. And I've always been a night person anyway. So I tend to be it tend to be really hard to sleep at night. I can be like exhausted all day, but when the sun goes down, I'm just not tired anymore. It's just the way I'm wired, I guess. So it's always been really hard to stick to a normal schedule under normal circumstances, but when I'm making videos and having to keep really weird hours to work on those, it just makes it even worse. So now it's like I don't really sleep at night. I sleep when I'm tired, which can be sometimes at excuse me, it can be sometimes at night, sometimes early in the morning, sometimes in the middle of the day. It's whenever I get tired now. Do you ever watch any anime? Yeah, of course. Um, I've been watching Attack on Titan for like since it came out. I was slightly late to the party on that one, but I do watch Attack on Titan. I just watched Pacific Rim: The Black. I don't know if that technically qualifies as anime, but I think it's anime-esque. Uh, what's another one? Ghost in the Shell. Love Ghost in the Shell. I have like all like the Ghost in the Shell media there is, just about, except for the live-action movie. I can forget about that, but I got all the animes, got the movies, got the new series. I watched the new version on Netflix, which is not as good, but it's still interesting. Bubblegum Crisis 2040, one of my favorite anime of all time. Yeah, I watch a bunch of anime. I haven't reviewed any anime on the channel yet. Kind of waiting for something that really gets my juices flowing. Hold on. Green Entertainment, thank you for the $5. Who's your favorite kaiju? And got any status or figures? I don't have any action figures. I kind of grew out of that. I had a lot of them as a kid. I don't know. I'm not much of a collector in that sense, I guess. I got all the comic books I've ever bought here. They're in long box after long box. They're lining my apartment along the walls over here. But aside from that, and my movie collection, I don't really collect that much stuff. Favorite kaiju? Godzilla, I guess. Does Ultraman count as a kaiju? I don't think so. I guess he'd be something else. Oh, the Ultraman anime on Netflix. I watched that one too. That one's really good. You watching Dota Dragon's Blood on Netflix? Yeah, I watched that. I felt like there was a lot of context for stuff that I wasn't getting because it's based on a game that I'd never played. Like they're lifting characters and some stories and stuff from the game, and so I was a little confused about some of the stuff that was happening. So I kind of want to go back and rewatch it. But I enjoyed it. The animation's great. Voice acting is very good. And there's an interesting story there. I'm just not entirely clear on all the details of it. It's actually a shame. The live-action movie of Ghost in the Shell was very nice. It looked really good. It was a beautiful-looking movie. What bothered me about it was, I mean, not so much the casting of Scarlet as the Major. I mean, I wish they'd gone with an Asian actress. I really do. I tried not to let that get in the way of my enjoyment. But what bothered me more than the casting itself was that the entire movie seemed to be designed to justify the casting of a Caucasian actress. Like, instead of taking stories from the movies or standalone complex or whatever, the whole thing was about why is the Major a Caucasian woman? And then it's like, oh, she used to be Asian, but the body is the cyborg body is Caucasian. It's like they took the whole movie just to explain the casting of a white actress. It's like, if you just cast an Asian actress, you could have avoided all this stuff. I get it. I get it. They cast Scarlett Johansson because she's a big star. If they can't get a big star, they're not going to make the movie. I get it. It's just really awkward, the whole thing. And yeah, it was weird. It was weird. It is kind of a shame because the movie does have some good qualities. Like I said, beautiful to look at. Absolutely stunningly beautiful movie. It's just, just personally, I wish they could have gotten an Asian actress, like the girl from Pacific Rim, whose name escapes me. Thought she would have been really good. And then maybe they could have done something from the movies or standalone complex. They could have done the Puppet Master or the Laughing Man. That would have been really cool. I would have preferred that, honestly. Mortal Kombat's coming out on April 23rd now. Okay. I'm pretty sure it was due out next week. I'm sure I heard that somewhere. I know they pushed it back, unfortunately. Oh, well. We're not through the pandemic, so things are going to be really weird for a while still. Man, I'm looking forward to getting back into the movie theater. Like my theater's been closed for a long time now. I don't even know if they're going to reopen. But yeah, we got to get everybody vaccinated so we can get back to normal life. Because I miss wearing clothes and going out and doing stuff. I didn't even do that much stuff, but I miss doing stuff. Like anytime I get to go outside and wear pants and just act like a normal human being, it feels like a big day now. Normally I'm just hanging around in my tiny little studio apartment wearing my sweatpants and stuff. And they should reboot the Arrowverse and fire Greg Berlanti. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I mean, because Berlanti is... I mean, I don't know when the guy sleeps, because he just keeps cranking out show after show after show, and they don't seem to want to cut the cord because, I mean, his shows, I mean, love him or hate him, he's made a lot more successful ones than unsuccessful. And I guess he's executive producing Superman and Lois, which is a bona fide hit for the CW now. So I guess he's just going to keep cranking out superhero shows, and most of them are going to suck because, Superman and Lois is an outlier. That's just a fluke that it's been good so far. But yeah, that's Greg Berlanti. He's a quantity over quality guy. I don't think he cares about quality control at all. They should absolutely reboot the Arrowverse. It hasn't been good in a long time. But they're not going to. All right, where am I? You should review Neon Genesis Evangelion. Oh, going back a pretty long way there. Do you mean the new movies? I mean, they're not even finished with those yet, I think. You know, Evangelion's a tough one to get my mind around because even all these years later, I'm still not really sure what the show is about. And it's certainly not the ending. Yeah, I have seen the movies. They're weird. They're kind of interesting. Have they finished yet? I think there was still one left. I don't know. I guess I could talk about the movies. I still don't have a really good grasp on the series, though. I always found it kind of vexing. Did you hear that Warner Brothers canceled New Gods because of the Snyder Cut showing Darkseid? They must have no clue how to make the DCEU. Yeah, they never have. They have no plan. They have no one steering the ship. That's why they keep running into problems like this. But honestly, I mean, canceling New Gods was probably for the best anyway, because Ava DuVernay was really not the right person you want helming a project like that. I mean, look at how A Wrinkle in Time turned out. I didn't even see that movie. I heard critic after critic just lambasting that thing. So she showed everybody the results when you give her, a big special effects heavy blockbuster type film. So what did they expect her to do with the New Gods? I thought that was a terrible fit. So that was for the best, honestly. Because I had no faith in that project. But yeah, I mean, to cancel it because they thought it was like going to be too far removed or too similar or too whatever to the Darkseid from the Snyder Cut. It's like, did you not anticipate this being a problem before you greenlit the Snyder Cut? It's like, what? These people don't know their asses from their elbows anymore. Not that they ever did. Would an Ultraman count as a Sentai? I really don't know. I'm a little bit of a neophyte with the kaiju and the Sentai and even anime too. I've always been a kind of a neophyte. Like I watch the English dubs. I prefer the English dubs. I don't watch the Japanese language versions because I don't speak Japanese and I don't like reading subtitles. Like I keep subtitles on even when I'm watching the English dubs just so I don't miss anything. Maybe I'm a bad fanboy. It's just that's how I view it. You need a haircut. Yeah, I know. The long hair originally was kind of an experiment because I'd never had long hair before. I'd always kept my hair kind of short. But I don't really like cutting my hair. So at some point I got in the habit of just letting it grow really long and then cutting it all off, like just shaving the whole thing off. So I only had to cut my hair like once a year. I am thinking about trimming it at least. I'm not sure when I'll do that. It's possible Batwoman will kind of handle that for me. Just make it all fall out again. Rinko Kikuchi, thank you. That's her name. They effed up Darkseid in the Snyder Cut. He just got fodderized. Also, how the fuck do you forget of the planet that gave you your only loss? Well, yeah. That's what I've been saying. Zack Snyder is not exactly a master storyteller. He never was. Now, people built the Snyder Cut up so much in their minds. I was always like, guys, it might not be that good. Really. I mean, the guy's a brilliant cinematographer. He can make something look really pretty when he wants to. But writing-wise, I mean, this is the guy who made Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch. Okay, master storytellers. Zack Snyder's over here somewhere. Okay, he's not in that club. So you were always going to have problems like that. I love that Asian woman from Pacific Rim. Yeah, she was. I liked her a lot. She was good. I'd like to see her in more stuff. Um, I didn't even see Uprising. I heard they killed her off in that sequel. I was actually bummed out. I liked her character a lot. Thoughts on the Percy Jackson movies? Have you ever read the books, and would you do a review of the show that they're planning on making of the books? I've never read the books. I saw the first movie. I thought it was kind of a mess. Didn't see the sequel. I have seen Dominic Noble's Lost in Adaptation reviews of those a couple times. So I have that's where my knowledge of the series comes from, pretty much. I am interested in the new show because I hear Rick Riordan is like heavily involved, and he has a hand in the writing of it, and he's really happy with how it's going. So I imagine the show is going to be a much more faithful adaptation of the books. So I'm interested to see that. But yeah, I watched the first movie, was not impressed. Chris Columbus, why? Yeah, he made the first two Harry Potter movies, which were passable, but the dude's got more misses than hits on his resume. Yeah, yeah. I must be an outlier. I thought it was a good movie, talking about Godzilla versus Kong here, but not great. I mean, Mechagodzilla could have been used more and differently. I love the original Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. Best old Godzilla movie. Yeah, I wasn't just blowing smoke when I said the movie was taking a lot of pages from Batman v Superman, because it's like Mechagodzilla was like a Doomsday. Like you had the two big boys fighting, and then they team up to fight this other thing. It's like it's structured just like Batman v Superman. How did this happen? Did they do this intentionally? Was it an accident? I really want to know this. So I kind of saw it coming a mile away. Like when they did the title sequence and you could see circuitry, like glowing circuitry flowing through the Warner Brothers logo, it's like, yeah, they're doing Mechagodzilla. And I get it, but you kind of want Mechagodzilla to get his own movie. And not just come in at the end so Godzilla and Kong have a reason to team up. I mean, I understand why they did it. It just kind of bummed me out. Because Mechagodzilla just comes in and like towards the end. I mean, you can see them throughout the whole movie. They're setting it up. Oh, big. Oh, wow. A big robotic eye. What could that be part of, you know? Hey, oh, Godzilla attacks a cybernetics company. Why would he do that? Gee, I wonder. So it's pretty obvious where they're going throughout the whole thing. But yeah, I want Mechagodzilla to have his own movie. So the fights were a lot of fun, though. That's kind of like the saving grace, because like the fights themselves are well done. So I gave it like a bit of an allowance for the stuff it didn't do quite so well. Tried to send a super chat from one tiny YouTube channel to one of my favorites. Unfortunately, YouTube won't allow Costa Rican colons right now. Next time, definitely. Oh, thank you so much. No pressure. Yeah, currently there's so much Arrowverse shows that are so unnecessary. Scrap Legends and Supergirl, probably The Flash. Well, Supergirl is ending after this season. I can't believe Legends of Tomorrow is still on the air. Flash, I guess is still successful. But yeah, I mean the Arrowverse is really showing its age now. It stopped being good like so early on. It's like it's just been year after year of crap right now. I mean, they're going to keep it going as long as it makes them money, but man, I'd love for them to just kick the whole thing to the curb and maybe start over. Because all they're doing with premiering like new Arrowverse show after new Arrowverse show after new Arrowverse show, all they're doing is just contributing to the demise of this whole fad. It's going to be that much sooner because of this stuff. There's just too many superhero shows out right now, and a lot of them really suck. Now, thankfully, a lot of them are really good, like Invincible, for example. Again, if you're not watching Invincible, go watch Invincible right fucking now. But yes, the CW, there's so many bad ones there. They just keep making more. Holy moly. Bear Business 1 with a $50 super chat. Good God. Thank you so much. Keep up the great work, says Bear Business 1. You too, my friend. You too. I will do my best. Thank you so much. Put Bear Business 1 in the VIP section. $50 super chat. Holy moly. And Gay Pax with a $4.99 super chat. Thank you. I'm a big fan. Thanks. And thank you, sir. Or ma'am. Or whatever you prefer to be called. Thank you very much. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. This is really nice of you. Let's see. Bei Ling would have played a great Major in the live-action film Ghost in the Shell. Bei Ling. Yeah, I don't know her. I'm actually curious about that now. Oh, there she is. You know, I don't see them. I don't see Major Kusanagi coming from her. Rinko Kikuchi, I could see it. I could see her playing the Major. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Which season of The Boys do you like more? Wow. I think probably season 2. Because that kind of felt like the payoff for everything that happened in season 1. They're both great, though. I don't want to choose between them. Arrowverse died when Arrow season 5 was over. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Arrow peaked in season 2. It was never really, it never really became that good again. There's no arcing DC Universe plan. Totally make it up as you go. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they had a plan, you probably would have seen the cast of the Suicide Squad movie show up in different films before they got their own film. They probably would have introduced Harley Quinn in a Batman movie prior to being in Suicide Squad. Like at the end of the movie, Harley gets captured. What happens to her? Find out in Suicide Squad next year. But no, I mean, there's no plan. They're just doing whatever they feel like. Hey, let's do Shazam. Now let's give Black Adam his own movie. Now, hey, that trench sequence in Aquaman was really cool. Maybe we should do a spin-off of that. Nah, now we're gonna cancel that. We don't care. No plan. No plan at all. mean, with Marvel, love them or hate them, you can tell they've got a plan for what they're doing. They've got a whole roadmap laid out. They're planting seeds for Young Avengers, for crying out loud. You got Stature and Ant-Man and the Wasp. You got Speed and Wiccan showing up in WandaVision. You got Patriot showing up in an episode of Falcon Winter Soldier. And that's not even that big a property. But they're planting the seeds to set it up. So it'll feel like a big deal when it happens. Marvel at least has a roadmap. They know where they're going. They know where they're going to be 5 years from now. DC have no plan at all. None. Mahler ripped the Snyder Cut apart. I have not seen Mahler's review. After I did mine, I just kind of wanted to separate myself from all the Snyder Cut stuff for a while. It's nice to know I wasn't the only one who thought it was overrated. Snyder Cut was head and shoulders above the theatrical one. Oh yeah. I mean, it was better in a lot of ways. Didn't mean it was a perfect movie or even a particularly good movie. But it did improve on a lot of the problems of the theatrical one. I'm not saying it didn't do that. Plus, this is the same formula every time for Mechagodzilla. Let's see. Invincible got woke in episode 3? I didn't get that impression. Okay, someone who doesn't like Amber? Why not? I mean, she seems fine. Is it because of the race bending? Because, yeah, they have, like, gender swapped a few characters, and, Amber is white in the comics, but I mean these are not major characters. I mean, you're not really changing anything about them. If you it's like the characters can still be pretty much the same. They're just a woman now or a black person now. It's not you're not really changing anything substantive about the characters themselves. I like Amber so far. She's fine. How do you feel about the upcoming Black Adam movie? I think it is really unnecessary. Alright, I'm not a DC guy. I don't really know anything about Black Adam, but isn't he a Shazam villain? I feel like they are pumping this movie up into way more than what it should be just because it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Black Adam. I think if it wasn't The Rock playing this guy, then Black Adam would just be a villain in a Shazam movie. But no, we got to give him his own movie. You're probably going to want to franchise the crap out of this now, because that's kind of what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson does. The guy's been looking for his own franchise. He kind of tried to spin off Fast and Furious into his own franchise, and that the results were kind of middling. Now he's got Jumanji, but he wants his own franchise and a superhero project, and I guess he's kind of hoping Black Adam can be that. But Black Adam is not really that kind of character. Isn't he a villain? Not even like a major villain. Not even like when they gave a Batman villain his own movie, okay, that makes sense. It's the Joker. But it's Black Adam. Why are you doing that? It just feels so unnecessary. I don't know who thought Kong would defeat Godzilla. They literally made Godzilla an infinite number of nukes. Yes, exactly. That's why I've been saying for years that doing King of the Monsters before Kong vs. Godzilla was a huge mistake. Godzilla vs. Kong should have been the second movie. And then they end with Ghidorah. They don't use Ghidorah as a stepping stone to Kong. That's why they had to spend like half the movie getting Kong a power-up, just so he could compete on the same level as Godzilla. Because if they don't do that, if they don't give Kong all this help with the magic axe and the military guys and everything, then Godzilla just steamrolls over Kong. Because how is he not going to do that? You know? I don't know why this never occurred to them. Or maybe it did. It didn't until it was too late to do anything about it. Let's see. Azrael 1984. Thank you for the super chat. Is Falcon and Winter Soldier getting woke? TBD, I think. There were aspects of the first two episodes that were kind of woke. There were some woke elements in there. I thought the third episode was good. I thought they kind of ditched all that stuff with episode 3. Now, it remains to be seen if they'll continue in that direction. Maybe you can write off the first 2 episodes as them trying to work the kinks out. Because I didn't get the sense that episode 3 was woke. Now, I guess it's going to be a big to be continued with episode 4. Are they going to continue on that and just try to have a good show without all the political stuff? I don't know yet. But episode 3 is good in that regard. Legends of Tomorrow is the only DC CW series I really like. I'm glad it's been forwarded for 2 more series. 2 more? Seriously? But besides Stargirl, I think the rest of the CW DC shows should die. You know, I reviewed Legends of Tomorrow Season 1 on my other channel. I did it episode by episode. I could not stand that show. I lasted 1 season. After that, I had to get out. I couldn't take any more. Now, people told me it got better after that. Like, they changed the tone, and they made it more of a jokey, lighthearted show, or whatever. But yeah, I didn't care. After season 1, I was done. I had no desire to ever watch that show again. Mahler completely destroyed the Snyder Cut and accidentally brought up the Whedon version a little bit. His criticisms are always valid and hilarious to watch. Long live the long man. All right, I gotta watch his review now. You just got me curious. I refuse to watch a Flash movie with Ezra Miller as the character. I don't blame you. I don't know what their attachment is to Ezra Miller as the Flash. And you're already recasting Batman. You kicked out Henry Cavill. Why are they so desperate to hang on to Ezra Miller? He's not even that big a star. What do you think of Jason Momoa voicing Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2? It's the first time hearing about it. Sounds fine to me. I like me some Jason Momoa. That's fine. Favorite villain in the Nolan movies? Next to Bane, he's the one who came close to killing him when he lit him on fire. Also, did you like Shazam? You know, Scarecrow's one of my favorite Batman villains, but it's really hard to root against Heath Ledger's Joker. I gotta go with Joker, because that was just such a tour de force performance. And Scarecrow would be a second, though. I really like what they did with him. The thing I don't get about Oliver changing the world after Crisis is why would he make it where there are still major threats for the heroes to face? Yeah, doesn't make sense, does it? The answer is because if he didn't, then the Arrowverse would have no reason to exist, and they want to keep making more of these shows. But yeah, they really didn't think about that. And you get to constantly keep asking yourself that question. Why would Oliver make this? Why would he make that? Why would he still have all these bad things happening in the world? If he created this new universe, why wouldn't he just make everything like nice and peaceful with no crime or no like super criminals to fight or whatever? Doesn't really make sense, does it? But no, if they just used the new universe as a get out of jail free card to change whatever the hell they wanted, whether it made sense or not. What comic is Invincible from? He's from Invincible. The comic is called Invincible. I believe it was an Image comic back in the day. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. Thank you for continuing to review Batwoman. It's a rare show where it truly is so bad it's funny, and your reviews are perfect reviews to get that point across. Oh, thank you. I don't really agree with the so bad it's funny thing. I think it's most of the time it's just bad. Occasionally I get a few laughs out of it, but those are pretty rare. Yeah, Kong won in the original movie. Yeah, I know. I didn't agree with that either. Uh... Yeah, see, why didn't Oliver undo all the wars across history or stop things like slavery, segregation, and diseases like cancer, AIDS, and more? All valid questions. And ones that the producers of the Arrowverse probably didn't think about. I think Invincible is great if you suspend your disbelief how little everyone tries to hide their secret identities. Yes! Thank you. I've been wondering about that too. Like, I forget what episode it is, but he tries to practice his flying in the backyard. And he's making all these, like, boom, boom, boom. And then the mom comes out and there's these big holes in the ground. Like, how is nobody seeing this? How does nobody notice? It's one of those things you kind of have to make allowances for. And I can do that because the rest of the show is so good. But yeah, I mean, it's like, is nobody looking out their window? Is nobody recording this on their phone or something? How has nobody seen this before? It just, that part really doesn't make sense. Still a great show, though. Batwoman insulted Adam West's Batman. Yeah, fuck them for doing that. Adam West's Batman was awesome, goddammit. You know, the Adam West Batman movie was one of the first DVDs I ever got when I started collecting movies. I love that movie. I love Adam West. R.I.P. Thank you for reading out my Legends of Tomorrow comment. I respect your opinion as well. Thank you very much, and you're welcome. Yeah, or like Eve flying down from the school roof. Uh-huh. And Eve flying over to Invincible's house and looking in his window and stuff. Like, you know, her power glows. She's going to be really easy to spot at night. Yeah, nobody sees this? I don't know. You have to make a little bit of an allowance for that stuff. I can do it because the rest of the show is so good. I'm just having a blast with Invincible despite that. Yeah. Thoughts on Shazam? I think it's the best thing the DCEU has put out. That doesn't say much, though. I like Shazam. I thought there was a little bit of a disconnect between Billy Batson and Shazam. It's like I don't really feel like these are the same. It's supposed to be the same character, but they feel like two different people. Like in the future, I'd like to see them like coordinate a little better so they actually feel like the same guy. That was like my one kind of big gripe about it, but otherwise, I mean, I thought Shazam was good. It was funny. It had heart to it, and I enjoyed it. Thought that was one of the better movies the DCEU has done. Not saying much, yeah, but I do mean that in a good way. Okay. I hope Batwoman doesn't insult Michael Keaton's Batman. Well, I believe they're rebooting the movies, so Michael Keaton takes over for Ben Affleck. So I don't think they'll be doing that. But man, you never know with these people. I'm done with all the CW shows. I only watch Marvel now because they have interesting stuff, and I like your reviews, though they're entertaining. Thank you very much. Okay. And I suggest you go watch the animated Batman movies like Under the Red Hood, Son of Batman, and Batman Bad Blood. Also, Bad Blood makes Kate Kane and Luke Fox likable, cool, and competent. I've seen a couple of them. Not all of them. I mean, there's so many. I'm not sure where to start. I have seen Mask of the Phantasm. I've seen was it Batman Year One? I think I forget what it's called. I own that one. Yeah, I do need to watch a bunch of the other ones. I'm just not that I haven't wanted to. I just haven't had time for it. I really like the Snyder Cut, but my God, everyone needs to stop overhyping. Pacing was bad and a lot of unnecessary additions and changes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I have to go to the grocery store, so why don't we think about wrapping this up? If anyone's got something they really want me to talk about, get your comments in now. Might go another couple of minutes here. The mere existence of the Martian Manhunter in Zack Snyder's Justice League ruins the character. I didn't see the purpose of including Martian Manhunter. I mean, at the end, okay, but why have him turn out to be posing as Martha in that earlier scene? And knowing that's not actually Martha, I think kind of makes that scene less emotional. And plus, how does Martian Manhunter know that Lois is important? Is he seeing the future too? Beats me. Migraine, absolutely. Like the part when Hippolyta stands on the cliff triggers me because that cliff could have collapsed at any moment. I know, like the whole building like collapsed into the ocean. Like, take a step back, woman. Slow motion parts added about 20 minutes to the film. Yeah. Snyder does love his slow motion. Snyder wanted a lot of fan service with Martian Manhunter and Darkseid's Omega Beams tease. They actually ridiculous and dumb and very needless to be in there, and Batman cursing is just ridiculous. Yeah, well, this is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I said it for a long time. He doesn't get these characters. I mean, he did an interview once where he said, like, his version of a Batman movie would have Batman getting sodomized in prison. This is really who people want shepherding the DCEU? Do you really want the Snyderverse restored? You really want Batman dropping F-bombs and using guns and killing people and stuff? Like, because that's not really his character, guys. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, hey, 2 more super chats. Yum Yum Eat 'em Up, thank you again. Nothing else I really need to say other than thank you for all that you do. Always look forward to your reviews and hearing your take. Rock on. Thank you very much. You too. Sean the Movie Man 71, thank you for the $5. I loved Invincible, but I hate the SJW self-insert character Amber. She acts like a 40-year-old smug woman that was condescending to Mark. Well, Amber is actually from the comics. I've kind of perused the comics a little bit. I haven't sat down and read them front to back. So I don't know if they've changed her at all. But no, that character is from the comics. I mean, there's been some race bending going on. I'm not sure if the character is any different. But I didn't get that impression from Amber. I mean, she seemed like a fine character so far. I haven't had an issue with her. But don't hold me to that. If Batman kills, wouldn't Joker be the first guy to die, considering he's the reason he started killing in the first place? You'd think so. The impression I got from that Snyder Cut scene was that he needed Joker for something. Like, they needed Joker to get them into a certain place, or Joker had information they need, or something. I don't know. But there was a reason why he was keeping Joker alive. Because he said he was going to kill him in the future, but he couldn't do it yet for some reason. So I don't know what that's about, and presumably we never will now. Let's see. One more time. The new Bodok show is on Hulu. Are you thinking of reviewing it? Not really. That feels like another one that's just wholly unnecessary to me. Like, MODOK is a villain. I don't know if he's even really a villain that lends himself to a solo project. And of all the people to give a solo show to, why MODOK? I don't get it. So I'm not terribly interested in that. I might check it out. like one episode just out of curiosity, but reviewing it, I don't think so. And you know what? I think we can probably call it there. I'd like to go a little bit longer, but you know, I gotta go to the store because I've been stuck at home for a week and I have no groceries. So finally have my car back, so I can go to the store now. So yeah, let's call it there. Thank you everybody for tuning in and for talking about Falcon Winter Soldier for a little while. Thank you to all our super chats. Thank you to Z. Thank you, Doodle Taint Stain. I love that name, by the way. That is an awesome YouTube handle. Yum Eat 'em Up. Thank you. Green Entertainment. Thank you. Bear Business 1 with a $50 super chat. Thank you so much, dude. Holy shit. Gay Pax. Thank you. Azrael 1984. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you very much. Yum Eat 'em Up with another super chat. Thank you. And Sean the Movie Man 71 with $5. Thank you. Thank you so much to all our super chatters. Thank you to all our commenters too. Hopefully my voice was okay in this one. It's still kind of hard to talk because of all the health issues and stuff. My head does feel a little better recently, so maybe the surgery did something. The doctor said that it can take up to 3 months to see results on that, so I'm just waiting to see if the hypersalivation issue gets resolved. I sure hope so, because it's really hard to do videos with that right now. And getting good takes is like pulling teeth lately. So, if I'm, my speech is a little impaired, that's why. So to be continued on that. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for talking about Falcon Winter Soldier with me. Thank you to all our super chatters. I have not seen the new Black Widow trailer. I'm gonna possibly do a reaction video on that a little bit later. And I'll have the time for it because there's no new Batwoman episode this week. But in the meantime, go check out the Godzilla vs. Kong review if you haven't seen it. I had a lot of fun making the excuse me. Making the thumbnail for that one. So yeah, that was nice. Yeah, so go check that one out. In the meantime, I will check to see if there's a trailer reaction video I can make about the new Black Widow trailer, and I guess I will see if there's something I can review during the week, and then I'll check back in with you guys next Saturday for episode 4 of Falcon Winter Soldier. You know, I guess I do kind of need a haircut, don't I? Just looking at myself in the screen here. Whatever. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, super chats. I'll see you guys on Saturday for episode 4. Until then, take care.